What's up, y'all? I'm feeling the mood to tell a little story. A little story time. I'm on the road, so I'm about to take it back home. Plus, I'm testing out this new phone, this new option on the phone, self-illuminating. So I needed the light for face fronting camera, and you hit this light on, and the whole thing lights up. That's pretty dope. But let me tell you about one of my wildest, crazy relationship story about somebody. And the thing about it, first of all, I'm not going to use none of the people's name, out of respect for them, and their privacy. I'm going to make up a name. It may not be the same name throughout the story, but this is the honest to God true story. And but here we go. So one day I'm hanging out on the block with my peoples. I'm chilling. I'm waiting for my boys and them to get up there and meet us all out there. So I'm sitting on the step. And but it was an abandoned house that we thought was abandoned. So all of a sudden I hear the door opening up, and I'm ready to take off and jet. I'm thinking it's the cops or somebody. I'm like, that just ain't right. Like nobody's supposed to be in there. So boom, I turn around, and it's this tall woman, long, pretty hair. She got her her jeans were unbuttoned and folded down, exposing her flat stomach. She just got her belly button pierced right down over to the panty line, clean shaven. So everything was like, bam. I ain't never seen nothing like that in my life. At the time I'm 25. I'm like, wow, it was like something on a movie. This lady's behind me, and she's like, you ain't gotta run, you cool. So I'm like, boom, what are you doing in the house? I'm like, you a cop? She like, nah, I ain't no cop. This is my people's crib. I didn't know that they owned the crib, but nobody lived there. My man was selling property and stuff, but that was just like a getaway spot. They would come and chill and hanging out, things of that matter. So apparently they used to be in there with her and her peoples and them on more than one occasion where they saw, us from the outside over time and kind of knew who we was. We just never knew because they would drive in the back and enter through the back. So we never really even paid attention to it like that. But apparently they knew, they knew what was going on out there. You know what I mean? But so we chopping it up, and I'm like, something ain't right. To my mom, like, I ain't used to somebody looking like this talking to me, and she's morally carrying the conversation and things of that matter. So she like, yo, you wanna go out hang out real quick? So we went and got a couple drinks, and then we come back to the block later on, and she like pull down at the end of the block. So we pulled down the end of the block, and we could see everything coming, everything going. So we chopping it up, and she the giggity gloppity, whatever y'all want to call it, yeah, like blew my mind. You know what I mean? Messed my head up. But here's the wild thing about it was, like, she was like, it's something that turns her on. It ain't about you. This was for her. Gemini girls have oral fixations. They love to try to steal your life from you like that. You know what I mean? Like, I read this book of telesexology. Y'all got to check it out. It breaks down everything about, how people that are cancers, they like their nipples, more sensitive and things of that matter, all kind of crazy stuff. So back to the story. She, she shows me, a little something. And of course I'm impressed. I'm like, wow, now I feel like a new man. So she invites me, asks me to come back to her crib, her townhome, because she was like, she needed help fixing her TV or her VCR. That's back in the 90s. So I'm like, cool, I'll ride with you. I'm going back to the crib to go help her fix the joint. So we get to the crib, y'all ain't gonna believe me what was wrong. All it was is the fucking plug wasn't plugged in, and the white cord, the coax cable wasn't screwed into the back of the TV. Simple fix. Boom, she got me to come down there, hook, line, sinker, and it was crazy because I never left from that night. It turned into something. But I'm gonna tell you this: the joint that came on that she had in the VCR, it was as soon as you plug it in, it starts playing. It was 1,001 cum shots. Yeah. She was into all that. Now, here's again, I never been into nothing like that in my life. So it was, I'm not saying not like that. It was not on that level. When somebody, is has a fetish for that, that's something on a totally different level. Totally different level. Every day for 3 years straight, it was like her protein. Like, she would go to work, had to come home on a lunch break, and she would always go back to work, clothes change, because she would wear like thongs and stuff. Like, sometimes wore no panties. She was one of them. I'm talking, bow, bow, bow. You know what I mean? Bad. When I lie to you, like, we all call now bad chicks or whatever. Yeah, this lady was bad as shit. Boom. So we wind up, hooking up, getting together, and come to find out years later, after the third year into the relationship, I find her ID, and I see that she was 5 years older than me. So no wonder she was kind of always like up on game and really mature. But sometimes girls are more mature. But throughout this relationship, it was she taught me, if it wasn't for this lady, she taught me how to go out and make reservations for dinner, how to pair what wine, with what food, what kind of wine, with chicken, things of that matter, putting on a tie, taught me how to tie a tie, how to act in public around certain people, going to certain events, different things, because I'm straight from the street, from the block. She, you know what I mean? And this, I guess to say, this is something that I've always heard a saying, a man will take a woman and make her, he can see a homeless woman on the street and make her a queen. And I think it was a rare time in history, especially in my life, where a woman that had, what going on, what she had going on, took me off the street and put me under her wing. So that was like, you know what I mean? Like, opened her door for me. And you know what I mean? It's bad when I say, beautiful woman, but cool as hell. Her whole family like that, respect to everybody. You know what I mean? Like, her mother and everything. I'll never forget the one time her mom, we're chilling down at the house, and her mom says, she asked me what was wrong. And I'm like, nothing. But she could tell the vibe was off. They really, vibey type of family, really, really cool. And she said, she said, the windows are the eyes to the soul. And she's like, I looked into your eyes and I don't see anything bad. And she told her, she said, don't you hurt that boy. So that's when I knew I was in for something. And then shortly after, here's the fun part. Boom, fast forward. This is how it all ended. So boom, one night, I met her, and I was, my income was all from one way. Maybe not all the best, but I was getting money at that time, and then I left that alone and started working. But my job at the time I had got it, they went on strike. I was in a union. I wasn't ever used to no union. I never been up. I didn't know that there is no work and you can't cross the line type of stuff. So I wound up losing that job. So things got tough for us. All of a sudden the relationship started going south. Through all the good stuff that was going on, all the fun we was having and everything, it just all of a sudden turned south. Boom. Some dude comes moving up above us, not realizing that, come to find out, they knew each other from a past, you know what I mean? Which is cool, you know what I mean? And I just didn't know about it. But at that point in time, me and him got cool. He had a roommate that he lived with. And I used to go upstairs and chill with him, and because they were older, I looked at it as, a big bro type situation. These people take me on they about something, you know what I mean? He been in his job for many, many years. This man can get a pension, got a pension, doing good. Like, I still know these people, I haven't spoken to them or anything, but I'm not mad at anybody how everything turned out. That's the funny part. Well, not the funny part, but the cool part about how all this happened. Because everything happens for a reason. And so, I used to hang out with them, and, we would all go do some fella stuff and, chill and smoke and drink, while all the while, them two was getting closer. So one night I'm home, and next thing you know, she's not home. No, this is how it went down. No, that wasn't, totally different story. This night, come home, she's not home. I'm outside, his car's not there. So all of a sudden, I'm outside waiting, and I see them come down the back to her house. So they're coming down the street, and as I see in the light, I see 4 heads in the car. All of a sudden, I see 3. She hit the button, boom, and she dropped back in the seat and played like she was asleep. Yeah, I saw it. So then they come out and everybody's piling out the car. It's her, him, his roomie, and her cousin. So everybody went out drinking and chilling. And all of a sudden, she's like really upset towards me. Like I did something wrong. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, so the club let out, so they were out chilling or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But why is, I didn't know that this was going on like that. And I hear her cousin talk about, ooh, that was, she nasty. She was, that nigga talking about the dude was like, he nasty. He was getting this sucked behind the dumpster by this dirty, or this nasty girl, whatever. And I'm like, oh man, y'all wildin'. So come Thanksgiving, we were supposed to spend Thanksgiving together, even though we had feel like it was to the point it was over with. But I'm like, I was cool with the family and I was still invited over for Thanksgiving. So we still went to Thanksgiving. She ain't speak to me the whole time. It was awkward because come to find out, she was supposed to be chilling with him on the other side of town. So boom, we get into it. She talk about, blah, 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 blah. So I go back to the crib. Now, no, we all go back to the crib. Next thing you know, we in there, and then maybe like an hour or two later, I hear a knock at the door. I go answer the door. It's Bull. He drunk. But I guess he didn't know I was not supposed to be there. They set it up for me not to be there. So he didn't expect it, so he was mad. So boom. He like, I forgot what it was. He was all drunk, started telling me some sob story, crying about, just drunk crying or whatever. So we went upstairs and started kicking it because, I'm like, in my mind still like, well, first of all, I ain't gonna fight. I never fight somebody that's in the, not in their right state of mind, But also too, I really wasn't trying to, all the way wild out on people and go to jail that night, you know what I mean? And all kind of stuff. So it wasn't even that, like that. So we upstairs, and then till it got to the point where we upstairs, she come knocking on the door downstairs. So when she opened the door and started yelling at me, talking about we making too much noise, and I started arguing with her, he started yelling at her, like checking her. I'm like, yo, that's my check. That's when I knew what was good. So me and him exchanged some words. I go back downstairs. I'm in there, we argue, but it's like, okay, I know that it's over. Now, I know I gotta leave in the morning, but guess what we did all night? Made sure the headboard was making noise. Bang, 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 bang. Maybe I'm over exaggerating on that, but I got some before we left, and I know he heard it because our bedrooms are right over top of each other. That's all I'm gonna say. And I know they was pissed off because they gave me a ride to work and dropped me off. And when I saw them get in the car and pull off, they started arguing. Now I knew that's when they really went in 100% all together with that. You know what I mean? When I saw that, and but that was like the last time that I, me and her spoke afterwards because it was the first time that I ever. This is why I humbly respect her and her family. And I have no hard feelings about how everything turned out. Yeah, it seemed like it was the worst and the best thing that ever happened to me because you schooled me on a lot of stuff. The lady taught me all kinds of things that I wouldn't be able to experience with my wife today. And she told me, I remember it was like a lot of my relationships that I was in, I learned a lot from different relationships, but she was the one that took everything and kind of molded me into a ball, into the perfect joint. So she knew when we had the conversation about us breaking up, she was like, look, I'm gonna keep it real with you, I apologize that it had to go down like that, but I needed stability in my life. Now, mind you, she was 5 years older than me. You know what I mean? She was like, I need stability in my life. You know what I mean? I got, I got other things on my plate that most people don't. And I respect that. You know what I mean? And she explained, I know that, the next chick that you're gonna get with, she gonna get, the best of you, and I know what it was going, and she gonna get a good man. We had that talk, and she gave me that respect, and and we parted ways. And that was I actually had closure the first time something like it ever happened. Yeah, and I'm like, listen, I can't be mad at all because those are the best 3 years of my life. When it comes to me growing into me being who I am and what I know and what I can do and things of that matter, man, listen, I had a fucking blast. I don't regret nothing. You know what I mean? Again, there's other stories about this, but it was before, but that last time that we saw each other and then had that conversation, but to say, this is a story that ends on a good note. because not all times everything people don't have to end and fighting each other and go through all that. You can peacefully, you know what I mean, just be honest. Don't lie to these men. Be honest. I know sometimes honesty but that not all the time. It's how you say and how you know, and then when you show and prove. I knew she needed stability. I knew I wasn't bringing the money in. I knew I wasn't pulling my weight. But my time, I didn't have, it wasn't enough time for me to get on my feet, is what I'm trying to say, you know, and I can dig it. I really, really understand that. That's life, you know, but, yeah, man, we were cool after that, you know, it was wash our hands with one another. And, you know, to this day, from what I understand, you know, she got married, they got married, have a beautiful family, beautiful relationship, beautiful home. You know, I always hear good things about them when I'm out in the old neighborhood, you know what I mean? I ask around and stuff, or just people just kicking it. So shout out to them, man. You know, beautiful family. I root for them, you know what I mean? I feel as though even, you know, the way how everything works, because if I never went through, I would never be with my beautiful wife, you know, and I got 2 beautiful children too. So I would have never been able to go through that, you know. There was, you know, a time in my life when I wasn't ready. I remember I prayed a long time ago that I didn't want to have children until I was financially secure. And that came true. I spoke that into existence. I said, I don't want to struggle like I see my people's growing up. They really can't want to be with their kids, but they can't take care of them the way that they want to. And then the baby moms don't want them to be around because they chasing that dollar too on somebody else, you know. So I understand, you know, and I didn't have children. She had a couple kids after us. I had my kids, you know, but it turned out for the best for everybody. So shout out to people that, you know, was in some crazy relationships, but it wound up being better when y'all separated, and it could have been the best of everything for you. But, you know, it might have been rough going through, but you can't say, you know, you never learned something. Every relationship ain't a bad relationship. Yeah, it seemed like it hurt having to let go like that, you know what I mean? But it made me a man. You know, I know things. I understand things better now, you know, and I respect the situation, you know, so shout out to them. I'm home, and thanks for taking this ride with me and keeping me busy. And I got some stuff coming up. It's in the editing clipping room right now. Tonight we shot another, you know, it's like a 35-minute video, and it's talking about and pretty much an introduction to my life. So from that video, you're gonna, you know, there's going to be different episodes coming out about different stories, you know, things of that matter, different people. You know, I want to try to reach out to certain people first before I put, you know, if it's okay, you know, to put them into the story for certain stuff. You know, of course, I'm not putting everything out there about a lot of stuff, because, you know, everything ain't for everybody. You know, that's how I roll. But y'all gonna get to know me. We gonna have some fun. Y'all gonna get to understand about me a little bit. Not a lot of bit, but a lot of bit. And again, we're gonna continue to grow this thing. We're gonna see where this is gonna stop. We're never gonna just, you know, pinhole us into pie or whatever it is and just put everything into one. I want to branch this out into a whole bunch of stuff, man. I got my brain is so filled with all kinds of ideas, all kinds of stuff. Like, man, I remember when, I guess now I understand how Keenan Wayne's was, how his brain was working. Shout out to them, how they brought everything. So watch what I'm about to come out with, man. We're going to start doing. I got some big things coming. I just need y'all support. Don't forget, like and subscribe. Scrams25. At Yahoo, on YouTube, Scrams25 on YouTube. You know, don't question my stupidity. And I'm gonna holler at y'all later. Peace.